Hey guys, and welcome back to another tutorial. So today we're going to be going over this glossy emblem style, which you can use in your logo or icons when you go to make them. So this is actually for a job I've been doing for a client, so I'm going to move over to a new document and show you how to do this from scratch. So I'm just going to go to File and New and set up my new document. I usually like to have my resolution quite high so that it's very detailed. However, if you're working for websites, I recommend you use about a 75 resolution, as this reduces the file size, so it's easier to upload documents. I'm just going to put it back to 200% so I can have more detail. I'm going to keep it at 800 by 800 pixels and select OK. So first off, it's always a great habit to set out your guides, so I'm just going to drag my guides out to the middle. They should lock in position. If not, then you can go to View, New Guide, and go to Horizontal or Vertical, depending on which axis you're working on, and type in 50%. I've already done my horizontal one, so let's drag up my second one. There we go, it should snap, and there we go, we've got our horizontal in. So what we're going to start off by doing is doing the outline of our circle. So just refer back to our previous one. As you can see, the outline is a circle, and it's a gradient that goes from black at the bottom to white at the top. So let's click it. If we've got our circle marquee tool selected up here, you can select your circle one by holding down your right click on the icon and selecting the circle one if it's not already selected. You can click in the center of the document, and by holding down Alt and Shift, you can create a shape which comes out symmetrically in all directions. Let's just go over that again. So if you click in the middle, as you hold down Alt, it comes out as symmetrically. If you hold down Shift, it keeps even proportions. So if I'm just going to bring it out to a size that suits me, I'm going to try and fill out most of the document. And there we go. So now we have to do is create a new layer. Hit Control or Backspace, and you should have a color fill. So the color doesn't matter too much for now. What we're going to be doing is going into the layer styles by double clicking on the layer, going to Gradient Overlay, and it's already as it should be, so it's already gone from black to white, bottom to top. So just click OK. And now we want to be changing this this layer, so just going to duplicate it by selecting the layer, which we already should have, holding down Control and pressing J, which should duplicate it. If you're not comfortable with using shortcuts, you can right click it and go to Duplicate Layer here, and just select OK. It's a few too many clicks for me, so I prefer using shortcuts. So what we want to do now is change the layer style so that the gradient is going from top to bottom. So let's just double click on the layer style, head over to the gradient overlay, and rather than fiddling about with the gradient options and putting them back to front, there's a button here we can do reverse, which just puts it in the opposite direction. So now it's as we want it, let's just click OK. And now we want it a little bit smaller, so as you can see in our design, it's gone from black to white, but in the opposite direction, and it's a little bit smaller. So let's do that. So we've got our new layer selected, our top layer, and we're just going to hold down Control and press T, and then you can click on one of the corners, and if you just dragged it in now, it would not only bring it into one point, but it would be all skewed, and you can make it like an oval shape. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold down Shift, which brings it down in proportion, and we're going to hold down Alt, which means it brings it in from the opposite sides as well. So if you're holding down both at the same time and drag it in, as you can see, it brings it in at the same size and at the same rate in each point. So let's bring it into a point which looks which you're happy with. So you've got a nice thick border, or if you want thin. I'm happy with that. Hit Enter, and that's done. So we want to be duplicating it again. So either right click and go to Duplicate, or hold down Control and press J. And we want to do the exact same again. So first of all, we're going to change the layer style by double clicking on it, going to our gradient, and this time we want to be selecting our colors. So I'm just going to take off reverse, and I'm going to choose my color scheme. So I'm just going to select a pre-select one, but you can make yours how you want by using these colors or selecting one that you already have in your library. So I'm going to select this nice green and yellow one and click OK again. So we've now got our gradient sorted. Now I'm going to hold down Control, press T, hold down Shift and Alt, and just bring in the corners to make it smaller. Preferably by a similar amount as you did the previous time, but I don't really think it matters. Hit enter. Now I just want to adjust this a little bit more because I think my border's a bit too thick, so give me a moment to tweak my design. Oh, not holding down Alt, there we go. There we go, that's how I like it. So what we're going to do now is continue adjusting the layer styles for this top one. So let's just double click on it, and I'm just going to increase the scale of my gradient. The scale increases how exaggerated and how sudden the gradient is. So if you bring it down to 10%, as you can see, the gradient is over a very small space. So it's a lot of solid colour at the top and a lot of solid colour at the bottom. However, as you increase the scale, the 2 points in the gradient become further apart. So I'm just going to increase all the way so it's much more gradual. And for my colours, I'm going to reverse it, just the dark colours at the bottom. Okay, and we've done that. So what we want to be doing now is adjusting the gloss effect, so making the gloss effect. So as you can see here, we've got a nice gloss effect at the top, and we've also got a glowing effect at the bottom, which is much more subtle. So let's just going to start doing that. So let's create a new layer, and we're using the elliptical tool here. If you haven't already got the elliptical tool selected, it may already have the square one. So if you just hold down this top left icon and you select the one you want, we want the elliptical marquee tool, and now we want to be going and creating an elliptical shape with our marquee tool here. It doesn't matter how big it is, but try and copy me in the rough dimensions of it. So I think that's about right in terms of shape, maybe not position. Now we want to be making a gradient which goes from white to transparent. So for that I'm going to need to make a new For that I'm going to be making a new gradient. So let's go to our gradient tool. Go to edit our gradient. Now I've already got this set up, but what you want to be doing is having a white gradient up here. So having a white gradient like this, well, white color at one end, with the top one at opacity 100%. Then if you go to the top right point, have opacity 0%, and the bottom right point having that a white color too. Just a quick tip in case you guys didn't know, on this gradient tool, the bottom 2 points, or however many points you have, affect the color, whereas the top 2 points, or however many points you have, affect the opacity. So just to go over that again, the bottom 2 points should be white, and the top 2 points, the left one should be opacity 100%, and the right one should be opacity 0%. Let's just click OK. And we're just going to apply our gradient from the top to the bottom. And as you can see, it's created a glowing effect. I'm just going to do that again with the linear gradient tool. And there we go. So I just need to position this in the middle now. There we go. I'm just going to make it slightly bigger. And skew it a little bit. It's all personal preference, and it all depends on what shape and size you're doing, so you'll have to adjust this yourself. Here we go. And now what I want to be doing is decreasing the opacity slightly, so it blends in better. So I think 45% would be nice. Yes, it doesn't show very well in this colour. So what we want to be doing now is selecting the pixels of this inner circle, one where we've got our green and yellow transparency. So I'm going to find the one it is. I can just experiment by hiding it and finding it again. So let's just go select pixels by right clicking on the preview, this icon here. You go to select pixels. Now we want to be creating another new layer. Going back to our gradient tool, and we want to be using the same gradient as we did just before with the white to the transparent. You want to be making sure it's the radial, so up here you can change the type of gradient you're using. You can use linear, where it goes from one colour to another in a straight line, or radial, where it comes all the way out from one point, almost like a circle. So that's what we want to be using, the radial one here. It's the second one along. And I just want to go from top to about halfway. There we go. And now what we want to be doing with this layer is selecting the blending mode to soft light. Here we go here, and again it isn't very clear on this colour because it's very luminescent, like very bright colours. Right, so what I want to be doing now is going back to this green and yellow layer, and I'm just going to darken my colours actually. I'm just going to quickly select another one. There we go. Now what I want to be doing is going to Inner Glow, making it black, blend mode to normal, and just increasing the size. Again, this will change depending on how big your design is. Increasing the size to about 80, that looks nice, and the range up a bit more to about 70. And opacity up. So as you can see, that's created an inner shadow just to give it a bit more depth. So at this point, Photoshop crashed, and I had to kind of get back into the flow of things, and the video didn't really go well from here on. So I'm just going to talk over it. Basically, I open up Photoshop again, and I start using text, and I show that white objects with an inner shadow look pretty nice on this design. So you can do that by right-clicking on the layer and go to Blending Options, and just selecting inner shadow, and the default options are quite nice. You might have to increase the size depending on your design, but I hope it looks nice. So leave a video response if you use this. It would be cool to come check out what you've done, and I hope that helps. So thanks for watching, and check out gfxsocial.com. Just doing a small update right now, which I'm sure you guys will like, and I'd love to have your feedback on it. So join the forums on there, come sign up, and I'll see you guys soon.